All right, welcome to academic research activity. And what we are going to do first is we are going to go to our course page, which is seen on the screen right now. And we are going to click on session 5 because that is the session we are going to look at some of the activities. Here is the intro video. I'm hoping you already watch. And we are going to click on this link, Introduction to Academic Research Activity. And it is a Moodle book, so we will go through the pages through this research activity. So the first page is about introduction, and in this page I have a link to how to find scholarly sources page, and this is a quite lengthy document, but it's a very helpful document. This is actually in the introduction section or information section of your course page, and it talks a lot about how to start research, how to find scholarly articles. What about Wikipedia? How do I decide a source is scholarly or not? So please read this. This is a very helpful source. But what I created for you here is kind of like a summary, but also there are some additional sources as well. So let's click on the next so we can look at through the images. So the first thing I want to make you aware is there are actually some great sources outside, open access sources which you can use for your research. And here I listed two of them. One of them is Journal of Visual Culture. And you see that right here. You can actually look at the current issue. You can look at some of the older issues. And this article actually discusses a lot of related issues to our class. And you can actually access the full text here. It's open to public, so this is a great source. The other one is Invisible Culture, and this one is also a great source, and you can find a number of artworks and articles related with visual culture as well. Let's go to the next page on our book. This is page 3. And we are now going to talk a little bit about finding images, right? The easiest way to find an image is to Google it, right? Yeah, this is pretty obvious. And you go to Google, right? You look for an image. Let's say I am interested in Jeff Koons artwork, so I am gonna search for Jeff Koons. And if I click on it, it will come up sites. And if you click on images, you will find all different kinds of images. You can also do that from images.google.com. So let's see, I'm interested in this image. You click on it. And then if you click on view image, it will give you a higher resolution version of the image, as you can see here. And I can right click and save the image. And also I can go back, visit the page, learn a little bit more about what that is about. It is a helpful way of finding images, and a lot of us use it, but it's not the most academic way, and it is actually limiting because you are only limiting your research with the most popular images. So what you need to do then is to think about this a little bit more creatively. So let's go back to what I have here. Let me close some tabs and let's see some other options. The first option is pretty obvious. Grab your camera, grab your cell phone and explore wonderful things we have here. It's kind of sad if you just Google images, right? Explore our wonderful buildings, monuments, public artworks. Go to the Millennium Park, go to the Museum of Contemporary Art, which is free to Columbia College students. Use all of that for your research. But additionally, there are also some great online sources. Some of the best sources are available on our library website, which I'm going to talk about a little bit further in a few seconds. But there is this ArtStore database. And in my previous session, I talked about this a little bit, you may remember. And if you go to the databases link of our library and click on ArtStore, we will be automatically connected. Keep in mind though, if you are accessing from home, you will need your information to access this, and that's your OSS ID and password. And if you click on ArtStore, it will arrive there, and this is a great visual source. You can actually see a lot of institutions contribute to the collection here, and you can make researches, you can look at different images. And what is really cool about this is if you look at the images, you can download them, you can look at them, but you can also go really high res. I don't know if it is gonna allow me with the capture technology here. Let's try it. Let's try Koons Jeff and see what happens. But it is a source I use in my previous projects. It actually encourages you to use images for your dissertation and thesis as long as you don't publish it without permission. And one of the cool things about Artstor is, and let me drag this a little bit so you can see that a little bit better, you can actually really focus. This is kind of creepily focused, but that's okay. And this really allows you to study the images very closely and sometimes see some imperfections of those slides, as in this case. So use Artstor. This is a great source. Another great source is there are some actually great open access sources, and some of those are wonderful for our course, so I encourage you to go and explore them. American Memory Project is a project of the Library of Congress. Here you can see a lot of different images and sources about advertising, sports and recreation, culture and folk life, African American history, and you can find pamphlets, you can find printed materials. This is a great resource to explore. Another thing to explore is Duke Ad Access, and this has some historical advertising examples. It's a great advertising archive, and you will have a lot of fun. Come here and look at through the collections. You can look at examples from 1910s, 1920s. If you are a Mad Men fan, you can look at 60s. Oh my God, look at this. This is pretty cool. So explore this. This is really nice. Oh, that's not good. But here is one of the most popular ones, and I think there was a reference to that in Mad Men. Anyway, enough about Mad Men. Going back to other things, this is actually a great one. If you click on this, this is a Life magazine archive, and here you can actually go all the older archives of Life magazine from 1935 to 1970, and you can go through the pages. How awesome is that? And this is an open source, and go and explore it. You can even read the articles, you can look at images. This is great. What about World Digital Library? That's also a great resource where people continue to contribute. And I was just playing with this before this session. You can find examples from Australian National Library to Iraq National Library. And you can look at the memoirs of Babur, and you can go to the details of these manuscripts. Look at this. This is crazy. This is super fun. So there's no reason for you to limit your intellectual curiosity with Google. Google is good for beginning things, but use all these sources to find images. And as a part of your activity, you will find 3 of them. So good luck. I'm sure you will do great. Number 4, finding academic books and articles. This is, of course, a very important issue. And in fact, it's not that complicated. And again, you can Google, and I'm going to talk about that. But a much better way of doing this is going to library. And you may be like, I don't want to go to library. I'm at home right now. That's okay. Don't go to library physically yet. You should go later. But you can go to the website, and you can start from there. This little search box may not look like anything to you, but this is in fact a search engine called EBTO-EDS, and this search engine actually has multiple databases connected to it. It actually has 5 major databases connected to it, and those databases are connected to other databases. So when you search something very simple here, like Koons, Jeff Koons, you are actually reaching all kinds of different databases. And when you click on search, it is gonna find you some websites, some books, some articles. So this is great. Of course, now a lot of things are online. Students think I don't need physical books, but physical books are awesome. They rock. They are great resources, and our library has many of them. So you can actually go to the library and grab one of those books. Here, there seems to be a good book we have about Jeff Koons. And what you can do is, let's say if you want to look at this one, you can open it in the library catalog, and you can find the text number right here. And if you click on text me this call number, it will briefly ask you your phone number and provider, which I'm not going to do right now. Good try. And that way, you are going to be able to get the number in your cell phone. So you don't even need to use a pen or pencil. This is a great way of finding books. And then when you go to the library, the signs are everywhere. This is probably a book on the third floor. So you go there, you follow the instructions, and you find the book. And then you go to the desk, and your Columbia College ID is your library card as well. So you will use this book. So this is a great way of doing it. Another great resource we have here is iShare, and here is a link for you, but I will show you another way of reaching it. So if you go to library website, that little blue cute button, that is iShare. You may be asking, what the hell is iShare? iShare is basically an awesome system we have with many other libraries in Illinois. There are actually 85 libraries as a part of iShare. And you can basically find books from Loyola, from UIC, Urbana-Champaign, and you can either go to those libraries and check those books out with your own card, or you can actually request the book to come here. So if you search for Jeff Koons, you will actually find many more books because you are now searching 85 library. And if you click on it, you can actually request the item, or you can go to that library and find that book and check it out. The only thing when you're requesting this item is you need to log in. And for login, if you haven't done before, there's a very simple registration process, but it is pretty straightforward. So you can do that quite easily, and you can request it so they just bring it to Columbia. So use this. This is a great source. Another helpful source is ArtSource, and this is through the library website. So if you go to library and if you click on databases A to Z right there, and you go to ArtSource, this is actually a database that's included in the main search website, but if you search it from here, you can actually limit your research a little bit better. You can focus on just academic journals or conference papers. So it is a great resource to be familiar with. Another similar site is Humanities International Complete. So you do the same thing to reach there, and it is kind of similar to ArtSource, but it is a little bit more humanities strong. Finally, if you really want to Google, you're dying to Google, you're like, I'm gonna Google, just Google in a more academic way, and that is scholar.google.com. So that is the Scholar site of Google, which is actually used for that Time Life magazine resource I showed you. And this way you are actually looking at books, articles, and other related stuff. So when you search from here, you will find better sources compared to what you could find with a simple Google. And the cool thing about this is sometimes you can find articles and you can find direct access, and also you can cite it directly. Let's say this is actually a book you use for your project, and if you click on cite, and if you click on MLA, APA, you can copy paste the proper citation from here, which is awesome because otherwise you have to do this step by step, as you will learn in today's class. What else? Topic number 5, Introduction to Academic Citation. For this section, I'm not gonna actually explain everything because there are these 2 great videos that will explain things. So please watch them. It will be important for your assignment. The first one is about in-text citations, which you will use for your part 2, 3, and 4 of your final project. And then the cited, works cited page, which you will also use for all those steps. Finally, exercises, right? So I created a forum for you. It's called Introduction to Academic Research Forum. And basically what you need to do is find 3 images with proper labels as explained here. And then I want you, using the methods discussed today, find and list 3 academic sources in MLA style. And finally, I want you to list three of these sources in MLA style. So examples are here. It is pretty straightforward. Three images with three labels, three sources in academic style, and three in-text citations. As always, feel free to ask me your questions via email, and have a wonderful week. I hope everybody is doing awesome. See you guys soon. Bye-bye.